scenes, and let's get into it. Oh boy. I'll never get used to this. Alright, so seminar on how to improve in League of Legends. Here we go. So, for everyone who hasn't seen the last seminar I did about how to climb in League of Legends, I'm just going to say it again right now at the very start. Climbing in League of Legends is not the same thing as improving in League of Legends. People will tell you it's the same. There's definitely factors that tie into each other. Yeah, if you improve, generally you'll climb. It's not guaranteed. It's not going to be instant. There's too many variables in League of Legends for that to happen. But just in general, improving in League of Legends doesn't necessarily mean you're going to instantly climb. And climbing in League of Legends doesn't necessarily mean that you've immediately improved. Climbing in League of Legends can be broken down. There's a bunch of buzzwords you can use, but what I like to break it down to is three things: working hard, working smart, and having a good mentality about it. So we'll jump into just working hard and working smart because they go hand in hand. The thing about League of Legends is that there's a lot of volatility involved. You know, the only thing that's ever consistent in your games is going to be you. You can put the best player in the world, whoever you think it is, it doesn't really matter. Put him in gold and put him in 10 3v5 games in a row from 5 minutes onwards, and he'll probably lose 9 if not 10 of them. Does that mean he's not the best player in the world? No, I don't think it changes anything. But he lost 10 games or 9 games in a row. And, you know, sometimes that's going to happen. Obviously, that's an extreme example. But League of Legends is a game that sometimes you just don't have a lot of control over in some of the games. And one of the most important things you can do when you're improving is separate your rank from your identity and your skill level as much as you can. Because the thing about League of Legends is that everyone improves at a different rate. You know, for some people, it takes years for them to get even to Diamond 5. Some people will never make it to Diamond 5, and some people do it in 3 months. One of the most important things you can do when you're trying to improve at League of Legends is not compare yourself to other people. I hit Diamond 1 in about a year and a half-ish of playing, roughly around that, because I played on and off. But the thing is, and there's other people who come to me all the time, and they say, oh, I've played for 4 years and I'm still hard stuck gold, or I've played for 5 years and I can't get out of silver. Here's the thing. The time you play is irrelevant unless you're working hard and you're working smart during that. Because the thing is, you can play a bunch of League of Legends games and say, oh, I played 10 games today, I worked hard. Or like, if you're trying to get better, you like say like, oh yeah, everyone tells me I just need to spam games, right? So I play 10 games in a day and you're done, right? There's a lot more to it than that. Because playing 10 normal games or playing 10 games where you're playing champions, for first time in champions, playing your role you don't main, you're not really trying hard, that's completely different from playing 10 games and putting your all into it. I'll show you guys this document right now. So if you take a look at this, I don't know how well you can see it, but basically this is just a log of 1 week, one of the weeks that I played, and this is a log of another week. So every single game I played, I took a log of it, you know, where I started, where I ended LP-wise, what I did well, what I didn't do well, some notes about it. And then at the end of the week, I take a look at all those notes and I say, what did I do well this week? Like overall, like what did I improve on what I wanted to improve on last week? And what do I still need to improve on for next week? And so on, 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 for all of my games. When I started doing this, I was already Diamond 1 Master level player. But I couldn't consistently maintain Challenger, so I set out to improve. And it's different for everyone. You know, League of Legends is a very different game now than it was when I started back in Season 2. It's so much easier to find resources to improve yourself nowadays than it was back when I started. Back in Season 2, You didn't get stream of consciousness commentaries. You got Hotshot GG blaming people on stream because he couldn't look at a goddamn minimap. Back in Season 2, there's no such thing as Summoner School. Where you went to get information was League of Legends General Discussion Forum, where half the people there were trolls. There's no such thing as free coaching back in Season 2. You wanted coaching, then you paid someone who was a pro player $80 to look over a VOD for you and tell you what you did wrong, even though you probably already knew what you did wrong, and they wouldn't tell you how to fix it because they didn't know how to fix it themselves. Yeah, we're in Season 7. You go to League of Mentoring, you go to Summoner School, you get all these great videos about wave management, you get all these videos about lane trading, you get all these videos about everything, and on top of that, you get great people who take time out of their day, and people who have climbed up the League of Legends ladder to take out time out of their day to help you improve. But the thing about that is that you need to go out there and you need to go take that help. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, your goal should be you want to improve at League of Legends. And at the end of the day, League of Legends, like I said, working hard is just as important as working smart. You can play 20 solo queue games a day, but if one person plays 5 solo queue games a day, takes them really seriously, and the rest of the day he's doing VOD reviews, he's getting second perspectives on everything, that helps way more than just mindlessly spamming games. A second perspective for VOD reviews is so helpful because it's not enough to just go do if you can't identify your own mistakes in your own VOD review, then it's completely fine to go get help. That's what help is for. That's why that's why pro teams have coaches now and they don't just look over everything themselves, because second perspectives, even if they're not a perspective that's extremely high elo, maybe if you just go get a friend, it can help a lot. But the thing is, you have to want it enough to put yourself out there and go get it. You have to hold yourself accountable for your own improvement. Because playing League of Legends, if you just want to play it to have fun, that's completely fine, you know. There's nothing wrong with playing League of Legends for fun. It's a game about having, if you don't find it fun, I don't even know why you play. If you don't find League of Legends fun, don't go complain about it on Twitter. Just stop playing. But if you want to improve at League of Legends, you have to understand that it might not always be fun, you know. Sometimes, you know, despite everything I do, I work on my mentality a lot, you know, I take all logs of all these games, I'm so motivated to improve, I always want to be the best I can be. You know, sometimes it gets hard, you know, sometimes I just want to go fuck around on a random champion in ARAM or something, or I just want to go play first time as year. And that's fine, you know, if you're not having fun at League of Legends, it's going to be very difficult to maintain your motivation and your mentality to improve. And part of that is understanding when your motivation is starting to wane and fixing that, you know, whether that's taking a break or whether that's going to play League of Legends with your friends or whatever. That's just as important as working hard and working smart, because the thing is, you're not a machine, you know. It's very, very difficult to maintain motivation over a long period of time trying to improve in League of Legends. It's natural. People in general just get burned out when you put a lot of effort into something, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just need to know when that happens, how to go about and fix it, because the worst thing you can do is you beat your head into a wall and then you just keep playing when you don't want to play, you don't feel like you're tilted or whatever, and you start to get into a mentality where you're not playing to improve anymore. You're playing to just get back that LP you just lost, or you're playing to climb because you're sick of being hard stuck or whatever. Your mentality in League of Legends it dictates everything, you know. It dictates how well you play, it dictates how receptive you are to improvement, it dictates how much you can improve, and it dictates how long you can continue trying to improve. It's so underrated in League of Legends how much of an impact mentality plays on not just winning, but also improving. If you're not in a good state of mind for whatever reason, you know, external factors or 10 losses in a row, then you do whatever it takes to get into a state of mind where you also when you can start improving again. So a huge thing that I see in League of Legends, and I'm sure all of you see, not just in League of Legends, but in everything in life, there will always be people who say, I want to get better, or I want to do this, or I want to do this. The thing is, that doesn't matter. Talk is cheap, talk is shallow. If you want to go get better at League of Legends, go do it. You start logging all of your games like I do. You start going to look for, you start doing your own VOD reviews, and if you're at the point where you don't think you can improve from your own VOD reviews, then you go find someone to do VOD reviews for you. Very easy. You go on League of Mentoring, there's a bunch of people who are ready to help you out with VOD review. There's no excuse. If you find that free mentors aren't helping you out, then you go find paid coaching. That's very easy to find now too. If you don't have the money for that, or you don't want to do that, there's a bunch of people on YouTube who do great educational content every single role. YouTube videos, commentaries, like explanation videos, just rants like this one. There's a bunch of stuff. You just have to want it enough to go out and find it. You know, not everything is going to be handheld for you. Not everything is going to be spoon-fed to you. Especially something like improving at a goddamn video game. You know, sometimes you're going to have to go out and get it yourself. And improving in League of Legends is one of them, you know. You can improve just playing games and just spamming games, but it's going to be slow, you know. Not everyone has the time. Not everyone has the time to spam 20 games a day every single day for a full year. And if you don't have that time, you know, almost no one has that time. You got school, you got work, you got whatever. Then you need to hold yourself accountable and realize if you don't have that much time to spam, then in your time, you got to work smarter than the people who have more time than you. And whether that's getting VOD reviews from people who are good, and if you value your time that much, then you go pay for them, then you do that. But if you want to improve in League of Legends, don't just say, I want to improve, and then when people tell you, oh, you got to play a lot of games, and you say, well, I don't have time to do that, so I guess I just can't improve. You can improve no matter how much you play. You know, Quas, when he first started, played on 180 goddamn ping from Venezuela, had to play from a LAN cafe, and couldn't play for more than 3 to 4 hours a day. And that guy hit rank 1 on NA. With all those factors. I can't play, or I have a full-time job, or I have whatever, I have school, I take 6 classes. That's not an excuse. You know, maybe you won't improve as fast as the dude who plays 20 games a day and has 20 hours of free time every day. And that's fine. That goes back to the very first thing I said, where it doesn't matter. You shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people, because other people, you don't know their story. You know their rank, you don't know their story. You know, they might have been playing for only 1 year, but in that whole year, they were logging everything. Every single time they hit a wall, they got VOD review, they got pro coaches to help them out, whatever. You know people's rank, you don't know their story, so don't assume anything, and don't compare yourself to them. As long as you go about your own way and you improve, then that's completely fine. People improve at a different rate in League of Legends. People improve at a different rate at anything in life, and that's normal. The worst thing you can do is try to compare yourself to them, and then you stop caring about your own improvement, and you just start worrying about, oh my god, I can't believe I'm still here when this guy has played for this amount of time, and he's here. Because that's irrelevant. That shouldn't matter to you. The other thing is, when you're putting time into improving, identifying your mistakes is only half of the battle. Maybe even less than half of the battle. You'll find a lot of coaches who are what I call no-men. They know how to point out your mistakes, but they don't tell you how to fix them. And that's, unfortunately, a lot of coaches are like that. A lot of improving is identifying the mistakes and then taking steps to fix your mistakes, okay? Every single coach I played with for my first year and a half of pro play told me, damn, dude, you really understand how to play macro, you're a really good teammate, but you really need to work on your mechanics. So I went and I worked on my mechanics. Mechanics is one of the hardest things to work on in League of Legends. But, you know, I was in high school. I didn't have time to play 20 games a day to improve my mechanics on everything. So what did I do? I played Dominion, I played Blind Pick Howling Abyss games, and I just went and practice mechanics there, because those are environments where you're fighting constantly, you're constantly trading, you're constantly trying to dodge skill shots, you're constantly landing skill shots, and every single game I would watch after, and I'd take a log of the percentage of skill shots I hit and the percentage of skill shots I got hit by, and then I'd look, how dodgeable was the skill shot realistically? Did I have an actual chance to dodge the skill shot? And if I did, how should I have dodged it? And is it common that I should dodge this way? And I did that. I would look at my percentage of hit rate on skill shots. Some games I've been playing Ezreal, I'd shoot like 200 plus Qs a game. And I'd go back and I'd look, and I'd count the percentage of Qs that I hit and I miss. And then over weeks of time, as I kept playing those Dominion games, as I kept playing those Howling Abyss blind pick games, I would look if I was improving. Was I dodging more skill shots? Was I hitting more skill shots? And if I wasn't, then I sit down and I reassess. Is this actually helping me? And if it's not helping me, then what can I do to find something that will help me improve my mechanics? And if it was helping me, then you keep doing it until you're at a point where you're actually at a level that you want to be at. Same thing with anything, you know. If you are really, really bad at trading, then you go watch streams of really good players in your role and watch how they trade, and you take notes on it. It's not the same thing to just watch something, you know. When you go watch your own TV shows, you know, when you watch it, you're watching for pleasure, you know. When you go watch stuff, just naturally how we work is we don't watch it to learn most of the time, unless you're watching like Discovery Channel or something. Like most of the time when you watch your TV shows, whatever it is, your Netflix, whatever, you kind of just watch it to be entertained. You watch it to relax. And, you know, there are people, but the thing is, like, there's people who analyze like TV shows and motivations and everything. And that's how you should be doing League of Legends streams if you're trying to improve, you know. You can watch Cutie Pie, right? But if you're just watching Cutie Pie and you're listening for the memes and you're watching for the memes, then you're not actually improving, you know. People will say, oh, go watch Dremes, but once again, I wouldn't even say that's half of the battle, you know. When you watch streams and you're trying to improve, you should be taking note of what they do and then trying to understand why they do it. You know, copying works for runes masteries usually, but still, it's better to know the theory behind why, because, you know, pros aren't always right about everything. In fact, they're often wrong about small things, you know. They're not wrong about like larger scale things, like a bronze player saying like I don't know, like Blade of the Ruined King, like Twisted Fate mid is good, but pros are often wrong about smaller things like runes masteries because they don't put as much time into that. And that's why understanding what they do and why they do it is arguably even more important than just copying them. You know, if you're like bronze or silver and you're just watching them by yourself and you probably don't have the game knowledge to dive into why people do stuff, then yeah, just copy it. But if you're getting up there and you think you can break it down, then watch them and take notes of what they do. Why did he take that Q trade with the enemy LeBlanc right there? Why did he push the wave right here? Why did he choose to freeze the wave right here? Why did he engage here when he's down a level, etc., etc.? And then try to understand whether, like, their thought process behind it, and then, you know, maybe they're wrong. You know, streamers die and misplay all the time on stream because they're putting themselves out there, you know. But when you're watching and you're trying to understand why they do stuff, then it's not enough to just watch and just look, you know. If you want to actually improve from watching people, then you should be taking notes, and then when they make the decisions, you try to understand why they make the decisions. You don't just say, oh, he makes this decision, so I do this decision. Why? Maybe he was wrong. Maybe he was wrong and he was misplaying the whole time and you don't know. You know, it's just as important to question why people say things or why people do things as it is to just copy them, regardless, usually, of what your rank is. So, applying the fixes is the third step, you know. Well, identifying and then learning how to fix and then applying the fix. That's the third part, you know. Once you understand what your what your problems are, then you understand how to fix them, then you still have to go about fixing them. You know, I understand, you know, if I'm bad at jungle C, like if I understand that my mechanics are bad and I understand like this is how I go about fixing the mechanics, you still have to put the time in, you know? That's you've done so well up to that point, but you still have to follow through with it. When you know what your weakness is, you know how to fix your weakness, you still have to go about fixing your weakness. And you know, the hard part of one of those three, it's different for everyone, you know. Some people just can't identify their problems are, and they have an even harder time identifying how to fix the problem. Some people can do that really easily, but they just don't know, they just don't have the time, or they don't have the motivation to go about fixing it. You know, without any of those three, it falls apart, because you won't be fixing your issues if that's the case. You know, for a while, I was bad at jungle CS tracking. I made a goddamn quizlet and quizzed myself 30 minutes a day until I knew instantly this. If the jungler's got 8 CS, I know exactly what camps he has. I know exactly where he's going off of half a second of knowledge of where he is, because I wanted to get that down. You know, when I hurt my wrist initially, I knew that I wouldn't be able to, like, I went and did hand exercises. I had to dip my hands in warm water for 10 to 20 minutes before I even played, and then I have to play with a brace, and today I still have to play with a brace. You know, if you have a problem, you identify the problem, and then once you identify the problem and how to fix it, you go fix it. Without any of those, you don't improve, or you don't improve at the rate that you probably want to. You know, if you're bad at macro, go watch pro games, go watch streamers who understand how to play macro, and then take note of where they go and why. You know, if you find that you can't identify how to play it yourself after watching them, then you go find videos on YouTube where you can. Like I said earlier, there's a bunch of resources out there for you to improve if you need the help to improve, as long as you go out and find it. Don't be that guy who says, oh, if I just did X and X, I would be this elo. It doesn't matter. No one gives a fuck about you. If I just played this amount of games, then I would be in this elo. No one cares, you know? It's an insult to the people who have put in the work to improve when someone says that. Don't be that person. If you don't have time, then make time. You know, if you actually want to improve, it means enough to you to come out about this, then come out and watch this stuff, then go make time, because it clearly matters to you. And if it doesn't matter that much to you, you just want to play League of Legends for fun, then go play League of Legends for fun. But if you actually want to improve at League of Legends, then go put in the work, and don't complain, and don't compare yourself when the results aren't what you want if you're not putting in the work. Because I guarantee you, everyone who's hit Diamond in League of Legends, everyone who's hit Master in League of Legends, everyone who hits Challenger in League of Legends, they put in so much work that you don't even see. You look at QtPie, and he's having a great time. He doesn't take solo queue that seriously. He's memeing all the time, and he's still destroying people. The thing you don't see about that is that back in Season 1, back in Beta, back in Season 2, QtPie put in work, dude. 8 hours of solo queue, 6 hours of solo queue every day for years on end to maintain your level as a pro player. That's what you don't see. That's what you can't fake, you know? All of that mechanical skill, all of that macro ability, all of that game knowledge, that comes from putting in a bunch of hours of time to play League of Legends. When you watch me, you watch anyone play League of Legends, you watch people who can talk for hours on end about League of Legends, even when they're playing, even when they're not playing, when they're coaching, whatever. I didn't just magically, there's no magic fix, you know? I didn't just, one day something clicked in my head, it's like, oh, I know everything there is to know about League of Legends now. Hell no. It took me years to get to this point, and I'm still not where I want to be. There's still a bunch of players who are better than me, a bunch of people who are more knowledgeable than me, and I go after them every day, and that's why I have the level of knowledge that I have. You know, it's not just that I worked hard, you know? It's not just that I worked smart. It's about that I did both, and I had the mentality to keep going. Because once you don't have that drive anymore, then that's it, you know? That's it. And you can't realistically go any further, you know? There's always going to be some guy who wants it more than you the second you don't care anymore, and they're going to take your spot. You see it all the time in sports. You see it even in early League of Legends. How many people from Season 1, Season 2 are still playing pro today? It's not very much. There's a lot of young guys up and coming all the time who are going to take your spot if you don't put in the work. And, whether your goal is to hit gold, whether your goal is to hit plat, whether your goal is to hit D5, it doesn't matter, Just don't expect it to come easy. Don't expect it to be easy just because one guy says, oh, D5 is so bad, or one guy says, oh, I hit D5 in like 2-3 months. Like I said earlier, it's irrelevant, If you have the motivation to improve, you have the motivation to work hard, work smart, then that's all that matters. You put your head down and you go to it. You identify your mistakes, you learn how to fix your mistakes, and then you actively go fix your mistakes. As far as teammates and like the solo queue goes, it's just as important to separate your win streaks and your loss streaks from improvement, because it's not necessary. Like I said, going on a win streak doesn't necessarily mean you improved. It might. Going on a loss streak doesn't necessarily mean you suddenly became terrible at League of Legends overnight. It might. Maybe you've got some weird condition where you just forgot everything in the past month and you don't know how to play League of Legends anymore, but that's usually not the case. Your teammates in League of Legends, they're going to come and go. Some guys are going to suck. Some guys are going to be good. And all that matters is that after the game, you focus on what you did wrong. You go look at your deaths. Oh my god, I shouldn't have died here. It was so dumb of me. I don't even know what I was doing here. I guess I was autopiloted. Oh, this death was fine because if I went up here and they killed me, that meant my team could do this, and etc., etc., etc. After the game, you wipe it all out of your head. During the game, the only interaction you have with your team should be anything to win the game. After the game, nothing they do matters anymore. And talking to them during the game doesn't matter either, because at the end of the day, unless you're Diamond Plus, you're probably never ever going to see those guys again. All that matters and all that's ever consistent in your games is going to be you. So that's what you should focus on if you're trying to improve. You're not trying to improve your teammates, You can't teach someone how to play League of Legends in 20 minutes. If someone goes into your game and he sucks, then he's going to suck. Don't waste your time trying to tell him how to learn how to play League of Legends. Focus on improving yourself at League of Legends, because I guarantee you there's always something that you can improve on. Doesn't matter how many games you played. Even Faker, he's the best player in the world, whoever you think it is. Faker, Apto, whoever, Smeb, whatever. They get to the point they are because they don't give a fuck about their teammates in solo queue. Team environment a bit different, but they don't care about teaching their teammates how to play in solo queue, because there's enough you need to focus about before even talking about your teammates. There's always something you could improve on, whether it's your macro, your mechanics, your decision making, whatever. There's always something you can improve on, and that's what you should be focusing on in your games. Not the fact that you're about to get demoted, not the fact that you're in your last game of your series, not the fact that your teammate just picked first time Ezreal. None of that. What you focus on is the mistakes you make and what you can do to fix those mistakes. And that's all you can do. That's what it comes down to. Stagnating is a pretty common thing when you're trying to improve. People like to use the term hard stuck. I like to use the term stagnating, because hard stuck kind of only implies that you're stuck in your bracket, when in reality maybe you're just on a huge unlucky streak and that's why you're stuck in your bracket. So I like to use the word stagnation. That's going to happen. For some people it happens in gold. For some people it happens in platinum. Some people, like me, it happens in Diamond 1 Master. But eventually you're going to hit a point where you stagnate. And the important thing to take into account when you stagnate is you should go get help, because there's help available to you. Like I said many times already, there's help available to you if you just go out and find it. You go to Summoner School, you go to League of Mentoring Discord, and you go ask questions, you're going to get answers. You need a VOD review, you'll get one. If you've stagnated you've actually stagnated, or you suspect you've stagnated, and you've done what you can already on your end. You've been playing games. You've been maintaining a log of your games. You take note of every death you do. You know, you identify what you did well in a game, what you didn't do well in a game, week-to-week basis. You mark your improvement or mark where you're not improving, and then you hold yourself accountable for that by trying to fix it yourself, and then you still can't fix it, then you go and get outside help. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's kind of like, I'm sure you guys have heard it in like school and stuff, but don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, when I was starting to climb for the first time in League of Legends, every single time I got out jungled, every single time I got out laned, I would try to add the dude who just destroyed me or the dude who carried the game and say, what led you to do this? What did you do to destroy me so much? And then I would learn from it. Because, you know, maybe it's like, maybe for some people you find it humiliating if like you have to like ask people like, oh, like this, or like it looks like you're like inferior if you have to do this and this. But if you're trying to improve, who cares? Who cares at the end of the day what that Bronze 5 dude in Twitch chat says about you for having 800 games in Diamond 5? He's Bronze 5. Why do you care? Who cares what people say, you know? You shouldn't. If your goal is to improve, then it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, what you're doing, you put the time in, you put the effort in to improve, that's way more respectable than sitting in Twitch chat talking shit. You know? If you are putting in the time and effort to improve, then don't worry about everything else. Don't worry about what anyone says. Don't worry about the rate that anyone else climbs. Just focus on yourself. That's all that should matter to you. When you stagnate, go get help. Whether you ask questions, you get VOD reviews from your friends, coach, mentor, anyone. When you stagnate, go get help and you'll improve. It's different for everyone, but you'll improve. And that's what matters. Alright, I think that's about it.